From Los Angeles, I'm Brad Lamack, and this is Inside the Business of Acting on the Virtual Channel Network, and we welcome you wherever you are finding us on the World Wide Web, and I love that. We are here to help empower you on the journey of your career. Well, that's what we talk about. We talk about career journeys, turning points, lessons learned on the way to help them be better at this. And I'm very happy to have with us for our series of programs today a really wonderful, remarkable acting coach, directing coach. Jeremiah Comey is with us here in our Los Angeles studio. And I will, hello, by the way, and welcome and thank you. And I was going to tell you that how Jeremiah and I met many years ago when the business of acting, when my book came out and your book came out, and we happened to be on the same book signing, book tour thing together, and I was so happy to meet you. Jeremiah's book, and I'm just so happy to tell you about it, is called The Art of Film Acting. It's for actors and it's for directors, and I have used this book all the time. I tell my clients about this book. I have used it in classes I've taken, in classes I've taught, and I just find it enormously helpful. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you for using it. I mean, it's just, to find, when you look at the amount of acting books, you look at it and you go, why would anybody buy this? And I got a call, maybe a year ago from somebody in South Africa, said that she found the book and that I was her acting teacher. She just, because they don't have any acting teachers down there.
So she had you and the book, in the book.
Eventually came up here, but it was marvelous girl. And but it's just nice that, that somebody from South Africa would email you and say, thank you for the book.
That's great.
And so it's been,
that's great.
It's really been, it has done, has gone farther than I expected, and I'm very grateful, and I'm sure yours has. It goes into places that you don't expect.
Well, you don't realize all of the people who really have a thirst for this kind of information. It's much like this program. I mean, we have people all over the planet who get to watch us on the internet and listen into our conversation and watch and learn and help them on these journeys. So that's wonderful. And what I think is so exciting is that your book is actually in Greek. I mean, okay, so if they say it's Greek to me, it actually
it is.
It is. This is really, it is in Greek. It's like
it is in Greek, and it
is Greek.
It's the same format, and they translated it. It's really amazing. The cover on it, though, is so amazing.
It is different.
If you could get that cover on this book,
that's how they market. I want to.
Right.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
And the thing is, the Greek cover, because I don't know how they did it, how they got the rights, is really quite remarkable. I looked at it and I went, what a brilliant, they did such a great job on it.
Yeah.
This, when I was putting this book out, I wanted something very simple, because my book, I think, is simple, and I wanted to keep it simple.
Right.
But I look at the Greek cover and go,
What
it's
happened?
great.
No, it is great.
It's great.
So you have, in 25 years of teaching actors and directors, you've taught more than 11,000 people. Name them.
All 11,000?
Go ahead. Here's your first word. Go. Adam.
Well, I was just, one of my students, Makad Brook, who's working now as an actor, and I was coming on the show, and I said, the guy happens to be in Texas, so I'm saying, I know he just did a movie. He did Fence Walker, which is a new movie that's coming out. And he's also in the new HBO series, True Blood. And anyway, you run through a lot of actors in a period of time. Like one of my students is in Pineapple Express. Funny little bit. But anyway, you go through so many students, and you hope that they have some sort of success, that they can get into a position where they are a little bit in demand. And Makad is an example of a gentleman who came to me to be coached, just for a role. And we talked, and he sort of got a sense that I knew what I was talking about. It was like he was sort of looking a little bit, and he was studying with somebody else. And he turned around and he said, do you have a book? I had the book in the window, and wasn't advertising or trying to get him to buy it. And he says, "Do you have a copy of it?" And I said, "Yeah, I have a copy." So I gave it to him, and he called me up about a day later. He says, I don't think I'm going to study with this other person. I want to come and study with you. So for 3 days a week, and this is the persistence. Persistence runs. The persistence that you need in this business is enormous. So for 3 days a week, which is I teach 3 days a week, he would come in every class for 3 years. I mean, consistently for 3 years. I mean, he was working or something like that. So for almost 2 years, he's going out on interviews, doesn't get anything. All of a sudden, he gets a cold case, he gets a Disney movie, he gets a Buckheimer movie, he gets, and all of a sudden his career just goes like that, takes off. It was like this constant working at it, and then all of a sudden when it happens, it happens faster than you can think.
And you don't know. You can train, you can prepare. What I think Hal Linden, when he was here, said success in the business of acting is being prepared. I'm paraphrasing, but being prepared for when luck comes your way, basically.
I think that's fascinating, but let me tell you this: I don't think there's any luck.
Really?
No, I don't think there's any luck. I think it's a matter of timing. And
for everybody?
For everybody. And what happens is this: it's very much like this guy Phelps. I was watching him, and the last race that he swam was 100 butterfly free. Now, the 100, it's very competitive, and there are people in the world that are faster than he is.
I'm faster than he is.
He probably. Yeah. Anyway, you look at it and you go, why did he win and the other guy lose? And the reason is this: Phelps never stopped swimming. He swam till he hit the wall. He swam the whole time. The other guy took his last stroke and tried to cruise into the wall. Rather than making another stroke and possibly missing it, Phelps just kept on going. And if you think about it, that's really the key. He knew that he had to fight as hard as he could. He just never stopped. And that's the key with the people that succeed. They never stop. They constantly are at it. They're constantly working at it. They're constantly going on interviews. They're constantly getting managers, getting the right people to represent them. They're constantly there with you. You don't have to call them up 2 times and say, "Where's your pictures?" You call them up once, they're there.
So it sounds like you're saying that those who are destined to become successful, or those who create success for themselves, are people who have a constant awareness of the journey.
The journey, right. And they're constantly on that journey. They don't vary. They don't change. They don't quit. And like you were talking about, being emotionally capable of handling that, which I think is such a great concept. And since we're talking about that, I'd like you to talk to me about that a little bit.
Well, the whole theory of emotional fitness, right?
Emotional fitness, right.
Is being healthy enough in your body and in your mind to be able to not so much or not just handle success, but handle what happens on the way to success. Because you have to be able to not take things personally. And so we're in a business where you teach and coach actors, and I represent actors who put themselves on the line all the time.
Right.
And so you understand why they go in for auditions and go up for the work they go up for and put everything they have into it and become vested and invested in getting the job. And when they don't, I recognize it's easy for me to say, it's black or it's white, you get it or you don't get it, it's not your fault, it has nothing to do with you, and it's not about getting the job, it's about doing a great enough audition that casting director will bring you in more often, and that's where the job is one thing, the career is another thing.
Right.
In fact, as a point to this, I have a client who went up for a certain casting director on one role on the guest stuff on a series and got called back, never got it. Just didn't book it. And then last week we get a phone call from the casting director to offer, the first time this young woman, direct offer to go do a role in the Drake and Josh Christmas movie. Whoa, hot theory and practice, right? So at some point, her work transcended. Who she was as an actor became more important than who she was as an auditioner. And
Right.
I think that's what the theory is, and that so many actors tend to focus on I want to memorize my lines, I want to get the best training I can, and I want to know where's my mark when they say action, right?
Right.
And that's important. I'm not saying that that's not.
Right.
But they also need to know how to handle not just what comes before, but what inevitably comes after, whether they get it or not. I think that's what that theory, for me, is rooted
No,
in.
I think it's absolutely apropos for this business. I mean, that's exactly how it works, and I think a lot of us look on the short term, not on the long term. You're looking at a career. You're not looking at an audition. You're looking at getting better at every audition you do. You're looking at investing everything. You're going to walk into auditions, and actors will talk about this all the time. They walk into the audition and say, I really nailed it. Don't hear from anybody. They walk into an audition and say, that's the worst audition I was in my entire life. They offer them the role. I mean,
that happens all the time. I see that in my own office. Yeah, that's true.
And the reason is that it's not about the audition. It's about going on the audition. It's about going on the next audition. It's about it's not quitting. It's not getting disturbed. It's not like the difference between Phelps is that Phelps did not quit. He just kept on going, and he won by it. I don't think he had a fingernail. I mean, that's how much he won by. It's like a 1/100th of a second. Something like
yeah,
phenomenal.
It was extraordinary. But that was then that kind of success, and absolutely, I love what you said about how it applies. It's very applicable into the business of acting, about how it's not just about his skill and his talent. I mean, you have talent. We can teach skill,
right.
But it also has to do with focus and determination,
right?
Passion,
right? That's the key to it. It's like one of the things that I love so much about the Olympics is, and I don't know the gentleman's name, but he is when the girls were doing the routines, the high bar routines, the gymnast. Yeah. They're two Americans that won a gold and a silver, and this gentleman was sitting there. And they photographed him responding to the girls and what they were doing. And he's there, yes! And he's jumping around, and you go, it's so great to see passion. And if you are passionate about what you're doing, and you come in with that passion, they know it. I mean, they know the person that comes in that's sort of scared. They know the person that comes in that's perfect for the part. They know the person that comes in with a little bit of extra something that they look at and go, this person wants it really bad, and they're going to do a better job, and I want to take a chance on them. And so it's like you said, is their luck. It's just doing what you know to do, doing what you've been told to do, trusting the people around you, which is it's very difficult because when you have let's say you have a manager. A lot of actors never see this. They don't know how hard you work to get them to help them be successful. They don't see it. They can't because they're not in the office.
No, they don't know what they're submitted on. They only know what they get the audition for.
Right, and you might submit them for 30 things and get one audition.
It could be more like 100.
It could be.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they look and say, well, you're not doing your job. And the thing that you have to understand in this business is, it's about friendships. This business has a lot to do about friendships. Your manager, your agent has to be your friend. They have to be somebody you trust, you rely on. You really have to put your faith in them because they're going to do what they have to do for you. And you have to look at it like it's a family. You're creating a family as you're making this business happen for yourself.
And if you're a smart actor, you do that.
Yeah, you do that.
Sure.
And you take, they're with you and you make this thing work for them and for you. And they in turn do the same thing. So it's a very, it's getting the right people around you. It's having you really have to be bright. When you look at this business, the ones who really succeed are very, very bright. Very, very bright. You look at the producers, you look at the directors, you look at the writers. The best writers in the world are writing scripts. Hard thing to write, and yet everybody, they're 18,000 years. I mean, maybe 15 years ago, I submitted a script to the Writers Guild, I asked her, I said, how many scripts do you get a year? She said, about 18,000.
Mm.
Now, out of that, let's say 800 get made into movies. And out of that, let's say 10% of that, that's 80, get some sort of a general box office where they actually get into the theaters.
Yeah.
All right? And out of that, you take maybe 8 or 9 are Academy Award winners. That's another 10% that get up into that category.
So you're whittling,
and maybe 20 of them will make money.
Yeah.
And then 1 or 2 blockbusters, maybe 2 blockbusters a year make a fortune, and everything else dwindles. And then you get something like the Full Monty. These guys make the Full Monty. Couldn't have cost $3 million. All right, makes $100 million. You know, and that's what everybody wants.
Right. You want that shot. You know, that surprise. It's like that.
Right.
We're talking about tricks of the trade, and we need to take a break.
Okay.
But there's lots of tricks, and we have more to say, and we expect you to be with us. This is,
don't leave.
Don't go away. This is Jeremiah Comey, acting coach, directing coach, and author of The Art of Film Directing for Actors and Directors. I'm Brad Lemack in Los Angeles, and we're going to come back for one more,
Right.
and we hope that you will join us. So we'll see you then.